Egyptians continue to cast their ballots on the second and final day of voting in the second phase of the 2025 House of Representatives elections. Across 73 constituencies and more than 5,200 polling stations, voters are choosing among 1,316 candidates for individual seats, alongside party lists in the Cairo, South and Delta and Central Delta and East Delta region. Egypt's House of Representatives is the country's primary legislative institution at the heart of lawmaking, government oversight, and national policy under the 2014 Constitution and its 2019 amendments. As Egyptians head to the polls to elect a new chamber, understanding how the House is formed, how its members are chosen, and what powers it holds is essential to assessing what is at stake in this electoral cycle.
Egypt's House of Representatives is the country's legislative authority, mandated under the 2014 Constitution and its 2019 amendments to enact laws, oversee the government, and shape public policy. The chamber comprises at least 450 members elected by direct public vote through the individual system, the list system, or a combination of both. Under the 2025 elections law, the president may appoint up to 5% of the total membership. Electoral districts are divided between individual constituencies and 4 list constituencies. 2 list constituencies allocate 40 seats each, while the other 2 allocate around 102 seats each. Eligibility requirements stipulate that candidates must be Egyptian, enjoy full civil and political rights, have at least basic education, and be no younger than 25. The law also provides for guaranteed representation for women, persons with disabilities, and Egyptians abroad. A parliamentary term lasts 5 years, with elections held within 60 days before the term's expiry. Members take an oath to uphold the Constitution and safeguard national interests. They retain their underlying employment, receive legally prescribed remuneration, and submit annual financial disclosures. Membership may be revoked only by a 2/3 majority in cases such as loss of confidence or failure to meet legal conditions. Members also enjoy parliamentary immunity for opinions expressed for the course of their duties. The House elects a Speaker and 2 deputies for the duration of 1 legislative term. Its business is carried out through specialized committees that scrutinize draft legislation and support oversight functions. The Chamber approves general state policy, national development plans, and the state budget, supervises the work of the Central Audition Organization, and must authorize government borrowing. Members may question ministers, submit interpellations, and initiate no-confidence proceedings. The House may not be dissolved, except for justified reason and following a public referendum.
For further analysis, we're joined from Cairo by the head of the Judicial Department and Elections Affairs editor at اليوم السابع newspaper, Mr. Ibrahim Qasim. Welcome, sir, to Q News. From your perspective, sir, how did the second phase of voting unfold across the 13 governorates, especially in terms of turnout and overall organization?
Of course, the National Elections Authority were fully prepared with the campaigns and with everything, and they knew exactly what to do in the second phase here. And yeah, we're witnessing the second day of the second phase, and everything was going very smoothly since the early morning hours and up till the last hours before voting stops. As you know, voting stops today or ends today at 9 p.m. But the NEA will make sure that all the voters at the polling stations will be able to cast their votes even if it's after 9 p.m. And according to the central room related to the NEA, they have seen a high turnout rate either in Cairo, Dakalia, Ismailia, or Sharqiya. These were the cities that had the largest high turnout rate. And yeah, the elections are still going until 9 p.m. and then they will have the vote counting. Of course, each of the of the directors of the sub polling stations count the votes, and they also make sure that everything aligns perfectly and that the numbers add up. And then each sub polling stations releases the number of votes that they have gotten, and the number of votes that each candidate got, and also the number of what the list got. And then after this, they send all the results to the general polling stations. As you know, in each district they have a main polling stations, and so yes, they get all the results, and then they also release the number for the whole district and the vote count and the number of the votes that can actually be counted. And then they send these results to the NEA to look over them again, and then we will have the final results on the 2nd of December as scheduled. And then of course they also add the number of votes from the Egyptians abroad, and they also look through the appeals before the 2nd December. But on the other side, and with what we have seen in the second day, we saw a number of violations that were detected by the police or the security forces, like, for example, having the son of a candidate. He actually entered a polling stations in Al Mansoura, and he tried to destroy the ballot boxes, but actually the incident was contained and dealt with immediately. And also in a number of districts, people were detected with money trying to bribe the voters so that they can give them their votes. These were also dealt with in Mahalla and in other districts in Garbaya as well, and they were arrested and are being under investigation right now. But there is nothing that could actually affect the whole electoral process or call for its cancellation, like what happened in the first phase. And the NEA has actually taken some measures and decisions, and they're implementing them strictly so that anything that happened in the first phase doesn't happen now. And one of the most important things here is preventing campaigning outside of the polling stations, or having candidates in the polling stations. And also the NEA made sure that the vote count is seen by all the by the media, and they are allowed to even go in there and to check the numbers themselves. And also the NEA has directed the authorities and the candidates not to carry out any violations.
Sir, what stood out to you about the scale of competition? Over 1,300 individual candidates, especially in densely contested governorates like Daqahliya and Sharqiya.
Of course, we have 1,316 candidates over the 13 governorates, but this number is actually not that big. If we look at the 2020 elections, for example, we had around 3,000 candidates, and the less the number, the more the competition. And so here we have high competition here in these elections between the candidates in each district in governorates like Sharqiya, Dakhla, and even Cairo. Also, there were some districts like Masr Al Jadida and Medinat Nasr and Halwan as well. All of these districts are hot districts now because they see competitions.
Sir, how effectively do you think the electoral committees manage the logistics of 2 full voting days, especially maintaining smooth operations from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
Of course, the NEA was very ready and prepared for this. They've been ready for around 4 months, and 4 months ago they coordinated with all the institutions and authorities in here in Egypt or even outside to allow the Egyptians outside to cast their votes, and they provided technical support and logistic support. As you know, for the Egyptians outside, there is some kind of system that's going on between the NEA and the embassies that had the elections, so that they can be monitored live, and so yes, there was coordination with the embassies, as I said, and here also in Egypt they took the necessary logistic measures. There were some polling stations that weren't fit for the elections or to host the voters, and so they just chose the polling stations that would actually be able to welcome this large number of voters and to make sure that they are very secure and they can secure them further. And also, one of the measures that they've taken is guiding people and facilitating entrance, and then also the application that the NEA has released, so that you can check your polling station. In the past elections, the voters complained about not being able to know their polling stations, but now you can just go on the application that the NEA released, and you can know very easily where you can cast your vote and what polling station you can go to. And this is what made everything smooth for 2 days straight, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Sir, the second phase covers a diverse set of governorates. How did local dynamics shape the atmosphere of voting in areas like Cairo, Gharbiya, and North Sinai?
Of course, these governorates, Cairo, Gharbiya, and North Sinai, they've seen a different atmosphere, because they have more industrial zones and not agricultural, and so they had different ideologies and different visions than the rest of the governorates. And so of course they had to make sure that everything was ready and to take the necessary measures to allow the voters to cast their votes, especially because lots of employees and workers here in these industrial zones and in other fields, they actually leave the work after in the afternoon, and so there was some decisions when it comes to the employees and allowing them to go to vote without being without any punishments. And then also they had some kind of umbrellas to protect the voters, to protect them from the cold or from the sunlight. And also, as I said, the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
Sir, couldn't thank you more for your in-depth analysis from Cairo. That was Mr. Ibrahim Qasim, the head of the Judicial Department and Elections Affairs Editor at Spceial newspaper. Thank you very much for joining us on Qnews, sir, and thank you very much for your time and informative knowledge plus in-depth analysis. As Egyptians are taking part in the second day of voting, attention now shifts from the polling stations to the final procedures that complete the process, secure ballot handling, transparent counting, and the official completion of results through the accredited channels. This election is not just about names and numbers, but about representation and responsibilities from the next 5 years, lawmaking, oversight, and public policy that touches everyday lives. We will continue to follow the process closely, bring you verified updates as they develop, and stay with the story through the counting stage and the official announcements. Stay with us for more coverage of the Egyptian House of Representatives elections here on Qnews. Thank you for watching.